Everybody can go. Everybody can go. Everybody can go.
Well, hey guys, hey, it's Whiskey, and today I'm all by my lonesome, but not really. This is episode 7 of the Everybody Can't Go podcast, and we are honoring May as Mental Health Awareness Month. So, because of that, and because my co host Lou is not able to make it, we have a special guest with us this evening. So, welcome again, Randy, from last week.
Hey.
Hey, it was nothing but gems. What'd you say?
I said, check out the effects. I feel celebrated and loved.
I
As always, it's
know.
good to
Get
be
into
here.
it. As you should. As you should. No, I really like going through and getting the clips from the episode that we did. What was it, 2 weeks ago now for National Poetry Month?
Mhm.
It was so fitting to be able to post them in Mental Health Month because we talked about mental health a lot. And
Mhm.
we got into your childhood trauma stories, and I remember being like,
Yeah.
"Should I post this and tag him?" He got real personal. I mean, how does it feel being that exposed? Are you used to it?
No, no,
Oh,
no,
okay.
no, and no. I mean, I literally
Oopsie.
had to do my own internal sort of process about it all. I
Okay.
mean, because it's like almost like delivering your poetry and you put it out there for people to consume it, but then you're like, wait a minute, let me just
Right.
your spirit wants to bring it on back, and so that was kind of what I had to go through internally within
Okay.
myself. Like, I know it had to be released, and I'm
Yeah.
glad that it was released, but it's this level of vulnerability
Yes.
that you have to, when you re-expose yourself to those experiences, that you have to learn how to maneuver and adjust around, especially in the age of social media when things can be picked apart, pulled apart, dissected in so many different ways, and people have their own interpretations. I'm like literally scrolling, like, what are people saying? Is someone say, is anyone saying?
Yeah. So
Give
the
feedback.
beautiful thing is that it reaches like a wider audience, like people who know us as artists, but they don't know us as people. And it's interesting being a part of both of those stories because we met each other in our personal lives, and now we do art together. And I was like, I had old church folks watching my stories. I was like, where y'all come from? Y'all just trying to see what the so and
Well, let's see
that's
what
interesting.
Randy and Whiskey talking about. Oh, really?
I
This the level
know.
yet?
Yeah, they call me E.G. White back. It is a journey, and that's something to really, just as an artist, and this is a good conversation we'll get into later, but
Mm,
as an artist doing a lot of work around the fear of being perceived and kind of dealing with sharing your vulnerability. And I'm in this phase now where I'm getting vulnerable again. I've known for having vulnerable art and poetry, but for a few years now, I've been phoning it in. It's been more
mm,
transparency than it has been vulnerability. And
mm,
the reason, for some things, I don't go there because I feel like I have to protect certain people's stories. I
mhm.
don't feel that way anymore.
Really? I'm not there
No,
yet. I'm not, and
no.
see, that's
No.
the space that I want to get to in
Yeah.
my own personal healing journey. I actually made a post today about people going people, let people have their own,
Oh
getting their
yeah.
feelings about, but it's still so hard to walk out.
The Mel Robbins.
Yes, it's so hard to walk out when you
I'm gonna get all
do.
ugly for this.
You're there. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Are
so
we
hard
having
to
some
walk
technical difficulties?
slightly, but I think we're good to go. No, what I was saying is that, it is
Okay.
I am it's I still have this people pleasing thing, right? That
Yeah.
I'm trying to
Yeah,
break
you gotta
free
kill that.
of. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's a journey. I'm like, well, I don't want
It's a
to
journey.
expose people, or I don't want to call people out. So then you begin to genericize your message to protect other people's image and reputation that they have built up from themselves for themselves. And so
Right.
doing that waters down, in a sense,
Right.
your message. And so I am trying to maneuver around that fear of not pleasing everybody, and knowing that
Yeah.
sometimes you're going to step on some toes. Like, your journey is your journey. I can't help who was along the way in my journey. And so if you are part of that experience, you're a part of that experience, good, bad,
Yeah.
or indifferent. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's still something that I'm, walking through.
Well, think of it this way, and this is something that has helped me, is that realizing that I am the villain in other people's stories. And I just know somewhere a nigga's gonna come out with a mixtape called She Was Crazy. And it's gonna be a double disc CD about me. You know what I'm saying? And I keep thinking that I have to think about some of the toxicity that I've put out when I've been in my unhealed. Give great mixtape, double take album. It yeah. So we're just kind of, and it's kind of fitting that we're having technical difficulties because that's how I feel in the inside. You know what? StreamYard, match the mood, okay? Get into it. Where I am, like, mentally is not a good space. And yeah, we're going to talk about that, just kind of like where we are in our mental health journeys.
Hmm.
Um, and, and yeah, how can get it together, we can have this conversation. I wonder if it's my. I know StreamYard is like, I need therapy as well. Maybe I need to have a sit down. So, anyway, what's going on with you in your mental health therapy journey? We talked about it last week, kind of. But we talked about on my Patreon before that you're in intense therapy. You're in like,
Well, I've actually graduated, yay me, from
yay.
the program,
Okay.
the EMDR program that I participated in. And I've graduated from a sense of the intense sort of reprocessing some of the traumatic incidences of incidents of my life, just kind of
Yeah.
going through that time period, those various time periods, and reprocessing them. So from that perspective, I've graduated. And I will say, and I think I might have mentioned it on the last podcast, is that Black men, check out EMDR. Like, I'm so serious. Like, if you are looking for
Please,
a modality, a
God,
therapeutic
do
modality
something.
that isn't talk therapy, because again, we, for some reason, it's just a thing that Black men, we're not talkers. It's just hard for us to express ourselves. And so getting down to the root um, in talk therapy can be challenging for Black men. So EMDR is a modality that is less talk therapy and more action based, literally getting to the root of various traumas. So you reprocess specific traumas in your life, to rethink about them a different way. So yeah, I would encourage people to check that level of that modality of therapy. Now, I
Yeah.
will say, I need to find, because I was kicked out of the program. I actually tried to engage with
Not you
that
was put out of
therapist.
it. It was like, get your healthy self.
Because I wanted to work. I wanted to work with that therapist,
Hmm.
because she was, again, amazing, and I wanted to continue through a more of a traditional talk therapy, but she's
Yeah.
focused specifically on EMDR. So now I am looking for more traditional therapist, that is gives us the talky type vibe. So
Yeah.
that's, I guess, next up for me. But it also is something that I haven't been like, ooh, let me hurry up and find a therapist. So I've been kind of just slow walking, finding
Okay,
another
so let's talk about this. Let's
therapist.
talk about this. Uh, Grow Therapy is a really good website for finding like CBT based therapists. And I like it because they break down a profile and they even have pictures. It's like a dating site for therapists. It's actually wild. Like,
Really?
yeah, so you go to their website and you type in your insurance, and then they'll pull up all the people who carry your insurance. And literally, when I started therapy again, I was like, I'm going to be intentional because the process is long to find a therapist that you're compatible with. And you have to be really in touch with. I'm so glad we're having this conversation, right? You have to be, no, you don't slight bread or laugh, but you do get to choose which one you want. I will say, and I talked about this on the Patreon. I had two therapists. I booked two therapists at once because I was like, I'm not playing around. If one is garbage, we're gonna go to both and see who is more on caliber. But it just so happens that what I need in my life right now is more like a life coach mentor kind of
Hmm.
therapist, but I also
Yeah.
need her to be a licensed therapist because I don't
Yeah.
need somebody telling me to make my bed without getting to the root of the problem that I'm depressed. So it's like uh you go on this website and they give a synopsis of kind of their strong points, and you can get a feel for their personality based on their summary. So I recommend it. I recommend shopping around for a therapist and thinking about what it is that you need. And the other thing I want to say is that cognitive behavior therapy is not for everyone. Talk therapy is not for everyone. You have to be in a certain space. And I burn out from it. I get tired of talking about myself because I'm an artist. I make art about myself. I'm on
Hmm.
lives talking about myself. I'm talking about my healing process. And then I got to sit there and talk to somebody again.
Hmm.
So what helped me was thinking, especially nowadays, it's difficult to have emotional support. So it's being intentional with the things that you talk about. And you can even go to therapy and share like your good news. You can share to have somebody just like root you on, cheer for you. It's literally could be a paid like friend. So I always encourage people to think of like the different things that they might need from a therapist. And even if you don't like talk therapy, to try it. And like right now, my therapist is very talkative. So sometimes I'll go into a session and I don't have to say anything. She'll just tell stories and she'll give examples of like similar things I'm going through. And I'm like, this is what I need right now because I'm not about to come in here and do all of this. So
Mm.
um it'll be interesting hearing about your journey going from EMDR to talk therapy because talk therapy is brutal.
Well, the thing about talk therapy, because I've gone through that process in my unhealed days, and so maybe my experience will be
In my flipping table days.
exactly. So maybe the experience will be different. But I know for me, it was literally draining, and I felt
Yeah.
like it was after every session. I would go into like a shutdown mode. Like I wouldn't
Yeah.
want to engage. Wouldn't want to, spend time with the wife and the kid. I just really
Yeah.
wanted to just go in a hole, crawl in a
Yeah.
hole, and be by myself. And that's the goodness of talk therapy.
Yeah.
That's the hard work of talk therapy
Yes.
because it is so draining
It's
of
draining.
your energy, and you could quickly find yourself going down a dark path if you don't have in between sessions some sort of supplemental therapy to help you as you're processing the
Yeah.
sessions that you've gone through at any given moment. So I had to learn that the session is almost like going to the doctors and they're poking and prodding and you coming out all type of sore, right?
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you're getting better and you're getting stronger, though you had to get shots and things of that nature, and it
Yeah.
hurts. It's painful. Going to the doctors can be painful. But at the end of the day, the
Yeah.
long run of the long game is that you come out healed. Right.
Yeah.
And so I try
Time.
to reframe my mind, even though I hate it. Like I hate the process. I hate going through it. And
Yeah.
it does get to a point where it gets a little bit easier. Right. So when you're first sort of forming, norming, and all this other stuff with your therapist, it's like a date. Right. It's like somebody that you don't know per se getting
Yeah.
to know you, and you have to be very vulnerable with someone that you're trying
Yeah.
to get to know. And I think that once you get over that hump, it gets a little bit easier, but it's still very draining. Like,
Yeah. Oh, it's
still very
draining.
draining.
Oh, it's I forget how draining it is, and then I have to give myself grace. Like I've just been laying around since I had my appointment. I've been laying around. I've been Uber Eatsing, you know. And then I was like, oh, but I have better tools now, and my body won't let me do it anymore. My body was like, hey, I need you to get up and go outside.
Hmm.
So I went for just like a shorter walk than I normally do, and I jump roped a little bit. And I was like, okay, my body still wants to do the healthy things. Like I'm
Yeah.
not going into a downward depression spiral. It's
Hmm.
more like you need to rest from all this stuff that you kind of dug up in your session. And I want to just talk about the buzzword healing that we always use. And I was listening to this very good video. I'm going to post it on my Patreon. It's like a healing resource. But basically, she broke it down to I love this like definition and explanation is that healing is us working on our emotional maturity. It's showing up as an adult in our emotions when we suspend ourselves at that childhood age where we just couldn't handle or take anymore. We kind of take on this thing where we want to only chase after pleasure and only do the things that feel good in life. So when we start operating in that, it becomes normalized one because everyone's kind of operating in that right now. Like we have a child in leadership. So it's kind of like that's the wave everyone's on and we normalize it. But the way we show up is supposed to be more elevated than that. We're supposed to be more adult. We're supposed to understand that some things are out of our control and some things are tough conversations and hard decisions. And sometimes life is just going to be difficult. So it's like, how do you show up not as your suspended child self and how you would react to a situation or lifing versus showing up as an adult who's like, okay, I'm having a bad day. What do I do? Okay,
Hmm.
I was in an accident. I have to get my insurance together. I can't fall apart. I have to be strong for this. I have to be an adult for
Hmm.
these kind of like everyday scenarios that's going to happen to all of us. And I think healing has become such a buzzword, but it really is just like growing up. Like grow up.
And I think along those lines is the realization that to feel sad, to have moments of feeling depressed
Yeah,
is
it's part of it.
actually healthy, right? It's
Yes.
healthy when you can acknowledge, or you get to the point in your healing journey that you can acknowledge, I'm sad. I'm depressed, I'm angry. The fact is not trying to not have
Yeah.
these
Yeah.
emotions. Like that's, I don't look at therapy as okay, I don't want to
Yeah.
be angry. I don't want to be sad anymore. I don't want to be depressed. Like
Yeah.
these
You're going
emotions
to
are
be.
going to come because we are human, we are flesh, you
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? We are not all spiritual. We have a human side to us as well that carries
Apparently.
all of these mixed bags of emotions.
Yeah.
And how do we hold these emotions, right? How do we manage these emotions? How
Yeah.
do we take a look in the mirror? I have a little mirror right here. How do we take a look in the mirror and say, wow, this is how you showing up, bro? This
Yeah.
this is how you, this is
Yeah.
how you showing up, and being
Please
able
see
to
yourself. Please.
quickly
Not see themselves, no matter how you explain it.
Mhm.
You give specific examples. You have receipts and everything, and they're still like, nah.
Mhm.
And it's interesting where we moved in this day and age where people like enough place to be, especially like thinking of us as artists. Like if people like your art, people like certain things about you. Oh, your energy is so good. Like that's the compliment I hear, but my energy is not all good, you know. So yeah, are we still? Do I need to say that again?
You need to run it back.
Oh my
You need to run
god.
it back for the for the back of the room who missed it.
Cut the. I'm not feeling mature. Yeah. When it's, you were talking about seeing yourself in the mirror, and you have to see yourself as you actually are. And that was a great conversation from our last episode too. And I said that this is my struggle because I see myself almost to a fault. and I feel like I struggle with people who don't want to see the truth about themselves. And I think it's something that I run into a lot being in the artist community, where if people appreciate your art, if they like what you do, they will let you show up as a jerk. They will let you be inconsistent and flaky. They will let you be a terrible personality. They will let you be self involved, narcissist, and no one will say anything because it's like, oh, but they're so talented. So I feel like for me, my extra integrity work is making sure that I show up in a way that is still good and full of integrity, even in you know on time and well and right for people, instead of what I can get away with because people will
Mm.
let me. And I think that's kind of like where we are now, where people don't want to heal because you don't have to. You can do what you want.
Yeah. Mm-mm. And so, and that's the piece that being an artist, because you are celebrated, like you were saying,
Hmm.
because of your art. And social media, everybody's just putting up all types of facades all over the place, and you don't have to be real and authentic on social media unless you actually want to be crazy enough to be authentic, right?
It's
So
the worst thing I've
people.
ever decided to do is to be actually authentic. And I feel like everybody hates it. Like it is not like I'm reading rereading Bell Hooks Communion right now. She talks about it like the self-love journey for women is very visceral because people don't really like when you show up in your authenticity because you start saying no and you're like, what is this groupthink performative stuff that we're supposed to do? I don't
Mhm,
want to do that. You start
mhm,
showing up in a real way, and people don't want real. They want the BS that you're peddling, and
mhm.
it's sorry, I'm bitter about it. I didn't cut you up, but I
Well,
was just like, it's the worst thing I've ever done for my brand was to be a real person.
yeah, because they like the art, but when you get to know the artist, it just, like you said, it becomes the whole totally different thing, and you can find out like, wait a
Mhm.
minute, I'm out here kind of on my own, being my real authentic self.
Yeah, I'm
But
intense. Like
mhm,
I hate that if my poetry is intense and I'm an intense person, allow me to be intense. but people want you to like lighten up, and I'm like, I'm not capable. Like this is how it comes. I don't like small talk
Mhm.
or dumbing it down or whatever. This is I come in a concentrated form, and
Mhm.
it's so frustrating. And I realize that that's part of why I'm in therapy again, is dealing with the rejection of that, because it feels like a rejection of who I am as a person, because I've put who I am as a person into my brand. It's like, well, that was a
Mhm.
mistake.
Mhm. 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 Yeah, I feel like I get multiple sides of whiskey in a good way though, but I get multi in a good way. I get, and what I think what people are drawn to is let's have a good time, party, fun, laughing, having a good time. That's the whiskey that I think people have grown accustomed to. But
Yeah.
then when you go to a different space, a different side, like that dark, gritty side, people are like, whoa. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
this isn't fun anymore. But
And
so
I'm not
still,
fun. And I
yeah.
try to tell people, I be in my poems like, I'm not fun. It's intense over here.
Mhm. But I feel like it's there are seasons, and if we can't be human enough to go through seasons in our life, and I feel like you have the your ride or dies, the people who are see you as a human, as a person, as a mom, as a black woman, and as an artist, right? It's like the people who see the collectiveness of who you are and what you
Yeah.
bring are going to be your true followers, like are going to be the people who um, are navigating life right alongside with you, going through
Yeah.
the same ups and downs, because we all go through ups and downs. And I think people connect to it, but they don't want to like your stuff. Like they don't want to like it if you're like having a bad day, or if you're feeling sad, or you put a poem out there about being depressed. People don't necessarily want to like it. They'll just say, oh, okay, and they'll, scroll on to the next one. But
Yeah.
it still comes with I feel like a following of people who can still identify and connect to it.
Yeah. I don't ever expect to be fully understood or embraced as an artist, because I don't think that we consume artists in that way anymore. I don't think we think of them as people. And I think that's part of what I struggle with and why I'm in therapy, is that I feel appropriated and consumed a lot. And even outside of this turned into a therapy session.
You're talking about therapy.
outside outside of, I noticed, like, I've been at this new job for like a year, and I started paying attention to how people react to me. And I do good work because God wants us to do everything in excellence, not because I want to do good work, but I do good work. But then there's like this energy thing, and I know that on some levels I'm always the personality higher, and people just like me around. And I literally had a coworker today who wanted me to come to a meeting because she wanted my energy there.
Mm.
And that it feels like consumption. And in noticing that people want to come around because they like that whiskey that's like, hey, life is a party. And I'm like,
Mhm.
I am that 20% of the time. It's
Mhm.
that. Like, that. I don't have the, and it's interesting. Oh, so that's a good segue into, I had my recent therapy session with my therapist Tuesday, and she told me, like, you're very empathic and highly sensitive. You have to have strong boundaries to protect your sensitivities.
Mm.
And as far as that person that I like to show up as, not even life of the party, but just like real chill and just, a good vibe. She's like, you have to be more zen.
Mhm.
And every time I go back to when I am the most calm and I like myself the most and I feel like I'm highest self, it's when I'm going on 2-hour nature walks. And I hate this because I try not to be a hippie, but then I look at the people I gravitate toward and I be like, I'm a hippie.
You are a black hippie. If
You think I'm a hippie?
yes.
I thought.
Listen, it was just so funny because yesterday, Michelle and I went to a spa retreat
Uh-huh.
for
Oh
our
yeah, happy
anniversary.
belated
Thank you,
anniversary.
homie. Thank you. 6 years. What?
Hey.
Um, but no, and so I was all dressed for the spa. And Michelle looked at me was like, "You look like you're going to Woodstock." And I'm just like, "I do," because I had all
You had on
because I
some
had
Birkenstocks.
yeah, because I had all my herbs in my bags and all this other stuff stashed away, and I had like the hippie hat on and the things that sort of help me stay in good energy.
Yeah.
And I'm to the point where what, if it's hippie, then I'll just go ahead and I'll wear it. If this
Well,
is
I
keeping me
forget.
keeping me calm, if this is keeping me
Yeah.
in a good space, I'm gonna go with whatever works that helps me stay
Yeah.
in an upright position as far as my mentals are concerned.
Well, yeah, it feels good. I just resist it. Like a 2 hour walk, like the stuff that I like to do, the stuff that I need to be well, I kind of resist. And I think it's like an identity thing too, because you're an artist, you're in different circles and stuff. And as I like ramp up the performance art and I'm known for showing up a certain way at work, I keep thinking like, oh yeah, you're a corporate baddie. And then I'm like, no, you're just not. Like I don't even like I don't even like brushing my hair. Like you supposed to slick your hair and brush it so you look polished. And I'm like, I have locks. Like I ain't trying to do nothing. I'm trying to put some rollers in it and be done. So I think it's just kind of like this leg of therapy or this season of therapy is me like fighting for my identity and to keep it
Mm.
because I feel like people come around me and they try to control and push me into a certain way and it's like I'm not that way. I always just like have a good time.
Ooh, 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 ooh. So real live, this is what's happening. So I'm the same way as when it relates to my community organizing.
Oh
Um,
yeah, you're a corporate
you know,
baddie too.
so you know, people see me and they think, "Oh my goodness, you are just like this. You bring the community together, and you just love people, and this, that, and the third." So somebody offered me, they say it's a position, a job out there that is like really is your focus is community organized. This is right up your alley, and I'm just looking at them like, it, actually, it's like like you said, 15-20% of like my or who I am. I
Yeah,
cannot stay in this space surrounded by people for too long because it is
a
so
nightmare.
draining. It is so draining. I literally go run to my garden. I say, I got to
Yeah.
get to my garden. I got to get to walking. I just want to be left alone. After every event, I promise you, I go and I shut completely off. Like I just
Oh
don't
yeah.
want to email, text anyone back.
Relatable
I
content.
just don't. I want to be alone, like
Yeah.
literally alone. And like you said, walking, taking long walks. One thing and why I go so hard around Falargo Pond and that's the whole stormwater thing is because
Hmm.
that is a part of my healing. Being able to just take mindfulness walks
Yeah.
is the thing for me, right? I love to walk. I love to be in nature. I love to identify plants. I'm
Yeah.
to the point now, let me tell you, I'm to the point now where I'm listening to birds and I'm like,
Uh,
I'm identifying birds, like I'm bird
I
watching.
hate us right now.
I
I don't want to be this person.
I absolutely want to be this person. Like I
Y'all
am
are
like
doing the savior.
on my app. I'm literally on my app, like looking. Like I got this app where you could like track the sounds of birds to figure out what type of bird it is.
Yeah.
I'm all into it. I
Yeah.
am all into it, and it is what has kept me
Yeah.
grounded. And for so long, I feel like, especially Black folk, and when you grow up in and I keep going back to religion, but when you go back
Yeah.
from to a religious point or from a religious perspective, we were disconnected from nature. Like nature
Right.
just wasn't a big part of our religious teaching, even though we were taught a lot about healthy living, and eating clean and this, that, and the
The
third.
PR on that was terrible. Do you ever the SDA church? I don't understand because I think they have great principles on health with terrible PR on it. They're like, I remember watching that video where there's like Hitler ate a lot of sugar and that's why he killed all those people. Do you remember that video? And I was like, or sugar, too much sugar is bad for you, and this is what it does to your body, and this is the food you use to replace it. So, and it's like the vegetarian message, but everybody's eating like the textured vegetable protein and the faux meat
All the
that's full of
facts, all
sodium,
the
and
fake
it's like
stuff, all
this
the fake
yeah.
stuff.
And then we used to have haystacks all the time and
Oh
cakes
my
and
goodness.
cookies, and it was like we're not focused on health, we're just legalizing not eating meat.
There you
And then
go.
like as an adult,
Bam.
like I was like, oh, they was spitting for real. They just didn't know how to market it. They like fear monked. Yeah, apparently he did per the video that we watched. And I was like, and somehow it jumped to he ate all that sugar. That's why the Holocaust happened. And I was like, what? This is terrible. But
Hmm.
like the I was really slow on the mind body connection to mental health. I think because of the poor messaging on that in
Hmm.
church and the poor messaging on that in the black community in general.
Yeah,
Logic said I need that
the
video.
because we never wanted to connect for whatever reason. It's just this weird thing where we don't like to believe science. We don't like to
Yeah,
believe the connection between science, spirituality,
yeah,
and health. You know, that intersection, right? And so we don't. Well, at least I think, I don't know what the SDA church is doing, and other churches from for that matter, is the promotion of mental health, the promotion of, like, really understanding who you are as a person. We spend a lot of time understanding who Jesus is. I mean, we spend a lot of time, but we
yeah,
don't spend the time to understand who we are as a person and how we show up. And
yeah,
the way to do that is with some sort of professional guidance that can
yeah,
help you along the journey.
yeah,
It's only recently that I've been engaged with a few churches, partnering with some churches around mental health, and wanting to sort of bridge the gap between
yeah.
mental health, and spirituality.
Because there
Um,
should be one.
it
The
absolutely
Bible
should be
talks
one.
about mental health more than anything. You are attacked satanically, mentally. It's in your mind. As a man thinketh
Mhm.
in his heart, so is he. The spiritual practices Jesus did too. When he was ready to be done, he was done. He was like, I love y'all. We good. I need
Mhm.
40 days and 40 nights to myself.
Mhm.
Like
Come on.
the Bible talks about mental health through and through, from like the beginning to the end. Everything's a renewing of your mind, putting on a
Mhm.
new spirit. Like I
Mhm.
I I had to go off and find God on my own and cultivate my personal relationship with God to understand how the mental works, because otherwise I would still be out of my mind. And
I would still be pacing like this, looking crazy. Can't
your
say
energy was
I,
terrible.
I
I meant to tell you that like your energy feels so different now. Like I forgot, like your energy was trash. And I say that
that
lovingly because we talked about this when I went through my deep mental health therapy during the pandemic. I actually had a couple talks with you where we talked about that deep anxiety where you feel it in your body and you're shaking and stuff. And you were like, extreme, don't like your old energy either. We just have it. The devil is a liar. What do they say? The AV people at church, Satan is tampering with the.
I mean, it's just because everything because everything who I was, when I say who I was, I mean the realness, the deep gritty stuff. I'm not talking about, again, the choir director, the leader in the church, like all of that was a facade. All of that was just, but
Yeah.
I am engaged and I'm so ingrained into this lifestyle. But then everything that I'm hearing over the pulpit, I'm like, dude, I'm preaching, but I'm gonna burn to hell. Like
Yeah.
I'm singing, but from what I'm hearing, I'm gonna burn in hell. It
Yeah.
was all about me and burning in hell, and I felt like everything that they preached against, this was like I was struggling with different things,
Yeah.
and so just the teaching of hell and the consequences of if you don't do this, then you're going to go to hell. It was very
Yeah.
traumatizing because I'm like, I'm performing, but deep down inside, I'm gonna go to hell, right? And so and so, unbeknownst to me, and you're growing up like this
Yeah.
as a
Just
child,
full of that anxiety and
as a
hellfire's on the way.
5-year-old, as a
Yeah.
5-year-old, I'm hearing, you're gonna go to hell if you don't do X, Y, and Z. And I'm hearing hell is this place where gnashing of pulling of teeth, and you're gonna burn forever and ever and ever and ever and ever. And I'm like, oh my God, when I die, I'm gonna go to hell. And so it creates this level of fear that I
Of
could not
mental
shake.
illness. Yeah. That'll drive you crazy. Just like that'll trip your nervous system, the stress of like whatever you do, you're doing it wrong and you're going to go to hell. And then it's like you read the Bible and you like sit with God and you're like, wait a minute. You have not been saying that at all. Where did we get that from? It's it is traumatizing the way that the church approaches mental health, and I do think that they are getting better, but I also feel like they've done a lot of damage. Oh, Logic said you're really touching on something right now. I feel like I saw a lot of people praising God then crying out of fear at the same church service.
Hmm.
Yeah, and I think
Hmm.
that is interesting how there's a disconnect spiritually with how all of the stuff that we talk about in the scriptures we repeat work, and that the most recent example I can think of is like my father's passing and how people have reacted to it, to our reaction to it, where it's like we have a peace that surpasses all understanding. I don't
Hmm.
know how I'm grieving this so well. That's all
Hmm.
Holy Spirit. and
Hmm.
and I still grieve. Like I have my moments in private where I'm like, I miss my dad and I cry, but and I hit strangers on the metro. But like I have my grieving stuff. But for the most part, it's been like this is all Holy Spirit, like a supernatural connection. This is
Hmm.
God feeding me and helping me get through this. And it's kind of like we shouldn't have that fear and anxiety, and as much as the Bible talks about not being afraid, and talks about our mindset and what faith is and having faith in God, even through trials and tribulations, that's the thing that helped me to ease my anxiety, is just knowing that there are bigger forces at play and God is in control. And it's a surrendering that is scary. And that's kind of like my blueprint for any healing journey, is like it should be a surrendering. You should be able to let go. Anything where you're holding on and controlling and moving the pieces
Hmm.
to something, that ain't
Hmm.
healing.
Yeah, yeah, no, the performative nature that spawns out of traditional religion just ramps up all of the
Yeah.
anxiety because you don't know, am I hitting the mark? Am I not? Jesus, am I hitting
Yeah.
the mark? Am I not? Am I doing, do I need to do more? You know,
Yeah.
um, oh my gosh, they said that, I can go to hell for things, sins that I might not have realized that I sinned on, right? Or the things that, and so did I sin and don't remember it? If I did, God, I need to forget. And so you just go through,
Yeah.
we go through this endless loop of
We were
torture.
so traumatized.
Well, and then the did you ever attend the Revelation seminars? The
I'm sorry. Um, I believe I have, but I may have blocked it out of my mind. Please refresh my energy.
The,
I mean,
oh,
my
so
memory.
yeah, so the Revelation seminars, we would go. It was an annual thing. It was all a part of the in gathering process. So I'm not sure if you remember the in gathering, where you would go out to the streets and you talk about Jesus and Jesus returning, and then the hell if you don't accept them, and this and that and the third. And so after in gathering, they will hold this 2 week Revelation seminar where every night we're talking about Jesus' return, which is cool, but then they also wrap it into this legalistic thing. If you don't do this, then this could happen to you. And then they would show all of the images, all of the pictures of people going to heaven, and all of the images of people going to hell. And so the people going to heaven, and this is the where art and imagery plays a huge part of religion, and how we see ourselves in spirituality, because
Right.
all of those images from the Revelation seminar were white people going to
Of
heaven,
course.
white
Yeah.
angels in heaven, the white Jesus saving. And so I
Yeah.
never saw myself, my blackness, and everything that comes with my blackness going to heaven. And so I
Yeah.
was traumatized. And I remember asking some other senior people in church, I'm just like, why don't I see any black people going to heaven? I remember asking these questions, but you would see some black faces in hell. And I'm like, why
Yeah.
don't I see black people, black angels, and black people going to heaven? Oh, sweetheart, don't. It's just a picture.
No, it's
Don't.
white
That's the whole.
supremacy.
Don't worry about the images. You're missing the point if you're worried about the pictures. And so I literally hate it. And then you would kind of go in this dark room, and you would just watch this screen of images of people going to heaven, and people living, white
Yeah.
people living this sanctified life, and all these black people going to hell. And it was very traumatic for me. And I was
Yeah.
made to go because I was an usher. It's like I was made to go
Not you was
and sit
working.
and sit and partake in just this experience that didn't have me in it. And
Yeah.
so all of these little things led up to just this anxiousness that
Yeah.
time and time every day. This anxiousness was a part of my life, and I thought it was
Yeah.
normal. It was the normal way to live in. My rocking, people are like, oh, Randy, that's just him. He just rocking. And so I
Yeah.
embraced it, not knowing that, bruh,
You're
that
not supposed to
is
rock.
physical sign that you may have
I
something going
still do
on.
it. I'm doing it. Now I'm self conscious about
But I still do it from time to time too. But it was just who I was. Like
it. Yeah.
rocking and pacing was just a
Yeah.
part of people just knew me as someone who just rocked and paced all the time.
Energy was trash. I totally forgot about that. I mean, that was back in the day, but the what you said is interesting because I think that's why and I won't go too far into this because I know this becomes like an intense topic, but I think that's why Black people move more toward African spirituality because we see ourselves in it. It's hard for us to see ourselves in Christianity, and it's not a great time to be a Christian right now. We're not really looking at our PR people are asleep or something. Like it's
Yay to
not
the new
great.
pope. We got a new pope, American pope. Let's see how he shows
Oh,
up.
are you excited about that? I was
I'm
like,
not.
oh, holy apocalypse. It's happening quickly. Like that felt like I was like, America do not need to be but that's another topic. That's me. That's conspiracy theory whiskey. But yes, I think that's the hard part that I had to go on an individual journey with God for to realize that God is a spirit and in kind of deal with my patriarchal stuff And also the black stuff, because that's the first thing that people say, like when you're black and you're a Christian, and especially I hear it from men, like, okay, like you selling out, worshiping a white god, and it's like they were in the Middle East. There's no way that the people were white. Like, this is how white supremacists have rewritten history, but it's not history. It's just the imagery and what they show us. And that's, I
Mhm.
think, is insidious because the country we live in is so good at psychology and they understand. Yeah, it's low key idol worship what they're doing with those images. Yes, it's a way for them to worship themselves and to elevate themselves over people. How do you get to determine who goes to heaven and hell and decide is separated by race? Like, you weren't even there. If you want to be for real, for real. But all of a sudden you go write everybody out of history. So
Mhm.
there's so many aspects of religion, of Christianity, that we are not taught in church. And I think it's an element of control because, especially for me as a woman, if I'm well, then I'm harder to control and I'm less likely to do like work in the church.
Yeah, it is a point where you do realize that
Reception is so bad today. I'm listening.
yeah, it's just the point where you realize that the purpose behind the westernized or the traditional sense of religion, not spirituality, but religion. It is a way to keep us conformed and contained.
Yeah.
But when you move from the tradition of religion and into the fullness and completeness of who God and Jesus was and everything that he represent. Once you start embracing the embodiment, the Christ embodiment, it's a game changer. It's a game changer, and it literally defies
Yeah.
the tradition of religion. It goes against, and so we want you
Yeah.
healed up to a certain point. And this is again, this might be my conspiracy theory type of thing popping up, but I the fact that the church traditionally doesn't, why we don't address mental health, I think is all tied to that. The level of wanting to control and not wanting people feeling like, oh my God, I'm so
Oh,
scared.
yeah.
Oh my God, I'm gonna go to hell. So I need to go to church, right? Oh my God, I need to go to church. I'm so scared. I'm so weak.
Yes.
I don't have the strength. I don't have, and this level of being domicile and this level of being just so
Yeah.
submissive and have
Of
no
being
control over,
powerless.
powerless. And
And
we sing a lot of songs and we do a lot of chants like, I'm low, I don't have this, and I'm unworthy, and I'm all of these things that we say to
yeah.
ourselves, and we embody them. So we are weak, we are low, and we can easily be formed and fashioned by
Yeah.
anybody that
Yeah.
crosses the pulpit, right? Versus being strong and secure in who
Yeah.
you are, knowing your strength, knowing that the God that lives inside of you is the God that created the heavens and the earth. It's the same God. And so we come with so much God-given strength and ability, and filled with so much purpose that's just waiting to just be set free, you know and it's an awakening, and I think people are afraid. I think the church in a sense is afraid of people awakening to their god-given
Yeah.
purpose, you know.
Power. We're here for dominion. We're here to rule. And when you embody that energy, that's what makes you a peculiar person. And it makes you peculiar even outside of the church. And that's something that helped me in my mental work because dealing with depression, you feel powerless, you feel helpless, you feel like there's nothing you can do. I will always be in this state. But and like reading the Bible and sitting with God. It's like, no, I said you have dominion, you have power over all of these forces. Satan is not the ruler of this world. I am in control, and you are higher than Satan. You're higher than all those evil entities
Hmm.
that you're so scared of. You have the power. And that's kind of like what I tell to people who are in like the occult and stuff. Is like, I know it feels like power because you have access to information, but my intuition is on point, my discernment is on point when I'm close to God, when I'm in obedience to God, when my steps are ordered. And it's like the power that you want to kind of like see the future or know what's ahead, and like all that is within you, but it has to
Hmm.
come from the right source. And I
Yes.
think that like the I have a line in my poem called "The Lack of Accountability of Vague Spirituality." It's like when you take on people don't like the structure of Christianity, that it's like, you'll be my friend, but you have to follow the commandments, you have to try to get to know me, and in getting to know me, it's like God has boundaries. Like, you can't just be like on his in his face without reverence, without coming to
Hmm.
God, understanding who he is as creator. And then it's like, once I understood like the exchange, it's like, oh, okay, once I grow closer to God, I want to be more in his ways. My mind
Hmm.
is like slowly starting to be renewed into, okay, if
Hmm.
this is aligning to what God wants for me. And then
Hmm.
through me doing that process, like seeking God, everything's being added unto me, and I feel the power of
Hmm.
it.
Hmm.
And I want that power to be the testimony, right? That's the influence that we have is. And I feel like that's how Satan has gotten into the church, by because they want that power and they want to corrupt people by keeping them low and only quoting, like only talking about Job. Everybody talks about Job, like we get it. There's other people in the Bible. So but when you keep the people low like that, Satan wins, because who that's not a good witness. If I'm
Hmm.
practicing witchcraft and I get to do spells to make people leave me alone and destiny swap and all this other stuff, why am I going to church where the people have low self esteem and are rude to each other? Absolutely not. Like, it doesn't add up.
Hmm. Hmm. You know, the it church caters to the busyness of people. Church keeps people busy. And when you are
Oh my
so
God.
busy, I mean, I for me, I was in church 3, 4 days a week, and you know that
Yeah.
easy a regular day, 3, 4 days a week, and I was so busy in church that I had no time. I had literally no time to be still and know that I am God. Be still and reverence and reflect and allow God to feed and pour in. I'm pouring out again, going back to the point where I need to be saved and I need to make everybody else saved, make sure everybody else saved. And so I just need to work, and try to save myself and save everybody else. And God is like, just be still, you know. And so I had to get to this point where I embraced stillness. I embraced sitting in my yard, doing gardening, getting my feet, like literally taking my shoes off, grounding, and learning who God is through gardening and through our walks in the park. And those are the moments that are teachable moments that I will never take light,
Yeah.
and will always be a part of my relationship, my
Celebrate
walk with
standards. Like,
God.
we have this podcast today.
It has given us a
This is
show.
this
We are
never happened. I don't know. I know. I paid my Xfinity bill. I'm positive. No, because I didn't want to pay it, but here we are. This has been so struggling, but like the best conversation. So I'm not mad, but oh my gosh. Oh my god. Okay, we have to. How would the old you have reacted to this?
to the podcast, to the well, the old me probably would have been nervous. The old me probably like, oh my God, what are we gonna do? It's not perfect. Oh my God. How do we recover? Oh my God, I'm so
It's not
embarrassed.
perfect.
People are going to see this and see all the blunders and mistakes. Oh my God, can you delete it? Is there a way you can take it off of YouTube? Like I would have gone down this spiral of wanting to fix it because it wasn't perfect. But not today. Today I'm living in the moment. Today I'm living in the moment and allow.
we
Cue
we
cue the music.
I know. So you know what? This was great conversation.
I love it, friend. I love it.
Oh my gosh. This is absolutely ridiculous. So, yes. With that, we're gonna wrap up. Thank you so much. Maybe we could, if you have like 20 minutes, we could do a conversation in the post show and tape it and put it out.
I love it.
Okay. Thank you so much, Randy, for joining us. And we missed you, Lou. Yeah, I was like, is this the spirit of Lou? Like, what's going on? Did you sabotage? We're going to be back in June. And yeah, we'll see you in June. We need a mental health break, clearly. And yeah, so that's a wrap on this episode. Happy Mental Health Awareness Month, everybody.
Listen, laughter is mental health. I love it. Peace, everybody.
Everybody can go.